In 1901, divers pulled a corroded lump of bronze from an ancient shipwreck. For decades it sat in a museum, ignored. Then someone looked inside, and found gears. Precision gears, 2,000 years old, arranged into a machine that could predict the future. This is the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient computer that should not exist. It began with a storm. Greek sponge divers sheltering near the tiny island of Antikythera decided to dive while they waited. 45 meters down, one of them surfaced in a panic, babbling about a heap of corpses. They were bronze and marble statues, scattered across the seabed around a Roman-era shipwreck loaded with Greek treasure, lost around 60 BC. Among the statues and jewelry, archaeologists hauled up an unremarkable, calcified lump the size of a shoebox. Months later it split apart, and inspectors saw something impossible, the unmistakable outline of gear wheels, with teeth barely 2 millimeters long. Nothing like it had ever been found from the ancient world. Many experts simply refused to believe it was that old. A century of X-rays and CT scans finally revealed what it was. At least 30 interlocking bronze gears, hand-cut, driven by a crank. Turn the handle, and dials on the front tracked the sun and moon through the zodiac, showed the moon's phase, and displayed the date. It was a mechanical model of the cosmos, small enough to carry. And it did something even stranger. It predicted eclipses. A rear dial encoded the Saros cycle, the 18-year rhythm in which eclipses repeat. The machine told its user not just that an eclipse was coming, but in which month, and even hinted at its color. Another dial counted down the 4-year cycle of the Olympic Games. Who could have built it? The moon gearing follows the theories of Hipparchus, antiquity's greatest astronomer, who worked on the island of Rhodes. The Roman writer Cicero described devices exactly like this, built by Archimedes and by the Rhodian school. The mechanism wasn't a myth or a one-off miracle. Somewhere, there was a workshop. That is the truly unsettling part. A machine this refined is never version 1. There were earlier models, simpler prototypes, other examples, and every single one of them is gone. Bronze was too valuable. Broken machines were melted down and became coins, statues, weapons. An entire tradition of ancient engineering survived only because one ship sank in deep water. Nothing of comparable complexity appears again for more than 1,000 years, until the great astronomical clocks of medieval Europe. One shipwreck is all that separates us from believing such machines were impossible. Which forces the question, how much else did the ancient world build, use, and understand, that we will simply never know about? The fragments sit today in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, still surrendering secrets to each new generation of scanners. And the wreck itself is still being excavated. Divers recover new artifacts almost every season. If you want more stories of knowledge the world lost and found again, subscribe. And tell me below, what do you think is still down there?